Hey Math 1B, I'm coming at you guys with a slight addition to day 137. So day 138 will still be graphing linear equations, but this time we got to get it in slope-intercept form. So let's get to it. So number one, the template we need for graphing equations is the y equals mx plus b template. So as long as we get y by itself, make it sure that mx is separate from the plus b, we got enough information to plot the points and connect the dots. So on x minus 5y equals 10, first thing I'm going to do is put a 1 in front of the x so there's no confusion about like numbers there. I'm going to subtract the 1x from both sides because it looks like we need to get a y and preferably on the left-hand side. So let's get rid of the 1x. So you've got negative 5y equals, instead of writing it as 10 minus 1x, I'm going to write it as negative 1x plus 10 because I see mx plus b up there. Okay? And now I need a kind of like a clean y. Negative 5y is not a clean y. I divide by negative 5 to make that happen. Divide all parts by negative 5. By the way, you see how I didn't drop the negative here? Don't drop the negatives. Yeah. So then y is equal to negative over a negative is a positive 1/5 x, and then 10 over negative 5 is minus 2. So there's the difference between, there's the connection between yesterday's and how to work through today's stuff. You now know that m is equal to 1/5 or negative 1 over negative 5. And then our b value, our starting point, is negative 2. So if we're using this xy grid here, here's my y-axis, here's my x-axis. B equals negative 2 means go down 2 blocks, put a point. Then you're going to go up 1, right 5. Up 1, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or down 1, left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. See if you can do y. See if you can get number 2's y by itself before I even talk about it. Okay. I'm going to put a 1 in front of the x. Subtract 1x from both sides. You got 3y. Again, I'm going to write it as negative 1x plus 13. Divide everybody by 3. And then y equals negative 1/3 x plus, and maybe you guys left it as 13 over 3. I'm going to call it 3, 6, 9, 12, 4. 13, 1/3 left over. And get that. So hopefully you guys got that when you paused the video. M is negative 1/3. Also 1 over negative 3. And then our b value is 4 and 1/3. So that means I'm going to start at the origin, go up 1, 2, 3, 4 1/3 blocks, because that's my y-axis. I'm going to go down 1 unit, right 3 units. So down 1, right 1, 2, 3. Notice I'm not actually on the grid line there because it's still a third above that. I'm going to go down 1, right 1, 2, 3. Or up 1, left 3. Up 1, left 1, 2, 3. Okay. I say plot as many points as you can. It'll make it as accurate as possible. All right. Anything different? Yeah, that looks kind of different. I'm going to first rewrite this with the 15y on the left and the 5x on the right. This is called the symmetric property if you just literally rewrite the equations where the right hand and left hand side flip-flop. All right, now we're looking better. Something y equals something x. That makes more sense. I'm dividing by the something in front of y. 5/15 simplifies to 1/3 if you divide the top by 5 and the bottom by 5. And since there's no constant out there, I'm just going to say the mathematical equivalent to nothing is 0. Yeah, so don't put +1. There's not a 1 hanging out there. If it's just there's nothing there, it's 0. Meaning we'd start right on the origin. Our b is 0. And then we're going to go up 1, right 3. So from the origin, I'm going to go up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3, down 1, left 3, down 1, left 3. Let's check out the bottom examples. Oh my. Okay. The JV markers are really leaving their mark. Ugh. This is industrial strength marker, I think. Okay. Number 4. Let's see here. Oh, we got decimals. So how do we incorporate decimals into this kind of work? Well, there's two things you can do. One is you can just multiply the whole thing by 10 right off the bat, and the decimals disappear. So if I multiply both sides of the equation by 10, 10 times 3y is negative 30y. Yeah? 10 times 5 is 50. Now, I don't like these big numbers on the right, but what it does do is it takes 1.8x times 10 and moves the decimal place over one spot, yielding 18x. Now I got no decimals, which is, I welcome that. Yeah, that's good. Now, I like the y on the left because that's what y equals mx plus b looks like, our template for graphing equations. So I'm going to, again, rewrite it as 50 minus 3y equals 18x. Symmetric property. Now, I need the y alone, so get rid of this 50. By subtracting, don't drop the negative on the 3y. You got 18x minus 50, and then you're going to divide by negative 3. I'm sorry, I dropped the 30 on the y. Got to be careful. So, dividing everything by negative 30 gives you y equals, and we can break this down, 18 over negative 30. You can cut the top and bottom in half. You get 9 over negative 15. And then hopefully you recognize that a 3 divides both the top and the bottom. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5, so it's negative 3/5 x. I can interchange the negative on either the top or the bottom. Just make sure it's not on both. All right, and then negative 50 over negative 30. Well, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Divide the top and bottom by 10, and those zeros cancel out. So you're left with plus 5/3. That's 1 2/3. All right, so that was a lot more work than the first part, but again, this is something we've talked about in previous math classes. So 1 2/3 is 1 plus 2/3 of a block above the origin on the y-axis. Then you're going to go down 1 2 3 Write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plot your point. And then I'm going to inversely go up 3, left 5. So. This example doesn't show up on the homework, but I think it's enriching enough to where we can look at it and work our way through it. So you got 4/5 y plus 3/10 x is equal to 4. Find a common denominator. Yeah. So a denominator of 5, 10, we'll just make that a fraction, 1. What's a number that'll divide 5, 10, and 1? 10? So times 10 times 10, unchanged here. This will be times 2 times 2. Great. So now we have 2 times 4, and then the y is going to be on the top part of the fraction. 8y over 10 plus 3x over 10 equals 40 over 10. Now, if everybody has a denominator of 10, you can multiply both sides by 10, and it cross-cancels with the 10s. I just use the term ditch the denominator once you find a common denominator. So we're just going to now work it out as 8y plus 3x equals 40. If everybody has a 10 denominator, you can just kind of ditch it because there are a couple different ways in which you can express doing that by multiplying both sides. All right, looks just like this once we get y by itself. Minus the 3x. That's negative 3x plus 40. And then divide both sides by 8. All the parts by 8. And you're left with y equals negative 3 over 8x plus 5. So the b value is 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units above the x-axis. Then you're going to go down 1, 2, 3 and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just going to estimate one more block. Here's another way you can do that. You can say if m is equal to negative 3 over 8, you can technically cut the top and bottom of that fraction in half. This is the same as negative 1.5 over 4. Yeah, you can go down 1.5 blocks, right 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and it'll be a point on that line. Or up 1.5 blocks, left 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll still be a point on that line. So, use that in case you encounter something like ridiculous, like if it was, say, 17 over 30. It's like maybe you're going to have to cut that thing in half a few times before you can actually get a legitimate rate of change to move with it. So, connect your dots, and you're done. So I hope you guys found that video helpful. And I provided answers to half the problems on the homework like normal, and then you'll just be asked to do about 6 problems. So email me if you have any questions. And if you don't have access to the XY grids, just do your best on pencil and paper to just recreate the grid. If you have questions about that in particular, please express them to me, and I'll try to guide you the best way I can on that. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.